The original email. The reason I sent it out is because Linda didn't get the original one, and I thought maybe somebody else might.
I didn't get the original. I have for some reason, I don't have the original.
All right.
I have everything else.
So I'm glad I sent it. So maybe, Maureen, can you send it to Casey?
Hang on. I'm connecting to the YouTube feed.
No problem. Casey, you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm good to go. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Hey, Petey.
On my screen, it says Casey Stephen.
Yeah, she's gonna change it.
I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn, you look very tan.
Do I look a little tan? My hair is quite long.
Lynn's been in Florida.
Are you still in Florida, Lynn?
I am.
Oh, good for you.
Yes. I haven't had a haircut yet this year.
Still looks good.
Thank you. I've been down here 2 months.
Oh, lucky you. How's COVID there?
I think it's worse than New Jersey, but higher population.
Because we're
I
on
mean,
our
we're
way
looking
up.
at what, 5,000 to 6,000 a day. I think the numbers down here are about 8,000 a day.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we're live on YouTube now.
All right.
Okay.
Maureen, can you change Casey's, where Casey is with the gentleman with the beard to Casey Culinary?
I will. Give me
Thank you.
1 second.
Well, I don't think we'll miss you, Casey.
Yeah, I'm growing up the beard. I don't know. Changing it up.
Okay. Oh, I thought
Look at Mike.
I changed him. I thought, okay. Rename.
Oh, wow. Mike.
Mike's getting, wow.
Where is Mike? Let me see.
Didn't even recognize you.
Mike, you're on mute.
KCCO.
Nope.
Laneri.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Deb.
Hi, darling.
Hello, everybody. And as I was
Hello.
saying, Linda, people say I look like Santa Claus now.
I know you do.
You look like a lumberjack.
I got the flannel on.
Let me just make sure it's up on the website.
Lynn, did you get your vaccine? It's scheduled? Lynn?
Scheduled February 4th. Since I've been in Florida, I haven't been able to get it since I'm here. Yes. So how about you, Linda?
All right, bye-bye.
Donna? 22. January 22.
Oh, Donna, sorry. Donna, did you get your vaccine?
Not yet. No, it got messed up with the county, my registration, so I'm trying to work it out with a couple people there. Because everybody who signed up already got their vaccine. So I'm just waiting.
How you doing there, Pete?
Okay, any week or two.
Donna, the firemen and police, and even I talked to Chief Murphy today, they went to Interstate High School in Patterson.
International.
Apparently it's a lovely high school. Apparently it's fairly new. Dave Murphy told me it took him longer to do the paperwork than to do the, he just had to sit there. He did very quick, in and out, and just had to bring your ID tags.
Grand Street, Patterson.
Yes, I think, yes, you're right.
Yeah, there was no line there at all. There was more workers than there were people getting
Right.
vaccines.
And I believe the beginning of the week, they got another 2,000 doses, maybe. I thought I saw somewhere.
What town is it in? International High School?
Patterson. It's Route 80 to Route 19, and it's not far from the falls, from the Patterson Falls.
And you could just walk in?
Yep.
But yeah, everybody so far. Dave said he just walked in. He went with his son. His son had to go to. His son is just under age, so he had to go, I think, to Hackensack for some reason.
So groups 1 and B they're taking?
1A.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. You're good.
No, but I mean, 1B started already. So are
Yes.
you doing 1B too?
I believe so. I think that's statewide. That's not, that's statewide.
Thank you for that information.
Driver's license, nursing license, you're done.
Did you get yours, Linda?
No, I'm going to wait because I had COVID in November.
Oh.
They're saying to wait 3 months, so I'm going to wait a little bit.
Makes sense.
I got mine
Got the
January.
antibodies.
Are we good to go?
I think we have everybody.
Yep.
Let's see, it's at 7:34. Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Wyckoff Board of Health. It's January 14th, 2021, and I welcome everyone. And it's great to see everyone, and hopefully everybody's healthy. That's probably the most important thing tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to have a flag up on the screen. We will stand for that flag, okay? So if everybody wouldn't mind standing. All righty. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
Of the
United
of the United
States of
States of America
and
and
to the republic
for
which
for which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible.
liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Madam Secretary Cindy,
Yes,
can I have a roll call, please?
yes. Dr. Yee,
He's on mute. Now he's okay.
Dr. Clark,
Yes.
Devalina Sen,
Yes.
Donna Garbatio, Michael Sparazic,
Present.
Lynn Spreen Raffo,
Yes.
Peter Melchiong, Linda
Here.
Brock,
Yes,
Casey Culinary.
Here,
Okay, and let me read my statements.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Please take notice that in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, and in consideration of Executive Order Number 103, issued by Governor Murphy on March 9th, 2020, declaring a state of emergency in the state of New Jersey, the Board of Health of the Township of Wyckoff does hereby notify the public that to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens, the meeting of the Board of Health of the Township of Wyckoff, scheduled for Thursday, January 14th, 2021, will be conducted virtually through a Zoom video conferencing application, and it will be live streamed on the Township of Wyckoff's YouTube channel. The work session is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. and the public business meeting will begin at 8 p.m. These measures are implemented to allow members of the public to observe the meeting via live stream and to provide the ability to comment during the periods for public comment during the meeting through Zoom telephone call-in technology. Joining the meeting by telephone will be utilized as a security against the sharing of inappropriate video content. General instructions regarding access to the meeting is posted on the Wyckoff website's homepage at www.wyckoff-nj.com as a news item. This regular work session meeting of the Board of Health is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. A copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk, the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald and News, all newspapers having general circulation throughout the Township of Wyckoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and mailed to said newspapers. Formal action may be taken at this meeting.
Great. Thank you very much, Cindy. What I like to do when we have a new member that joins our board, I'd like to go around the board. I want to first welcome our new Township Liaison, Pete Melchiong. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the table and just have everybody just give a brief introduction of what your role is, what your background is, and just very quickly, so Pete has a very good understanding. He knows most of the people from Township, but I think it's a good idea. So why don't we start with, I'm looking at the camera. Let's start with Cindy, since you are our board secretary.
Hi, I'm Cindy Rizzu. I am the Board of Health Secretary, and I am the technical assistant for the Wyckoff Building Department.
Right. And just as a background first, Cindy has been extraordinary through this whole COVID crisis. She and I have worked
Fantastic.
unbelievable. Yeah, really unbelievable. starting back in March when this thing started launching, Cindy and I were on the phone every day working on this and just weeks and weeks and weeks. Finally, just recently, I gave her a break and stopped calling because things got quieter. But she was remarkable. This township has no idea the things she's done behind the scenes and the things she's done to help people. And so, but I want you to know, Cindy, that we acknowledge it and we appreciate all the things that you've done.
Thank you.
I
very much.
loved, I really appreciate the emails. They are excellent because it's very important and you give it simple, dry, nothing. It's not too much, but it's not, you get everything we need. So it's great.
Well,
I
you
love
might
it.
you might as well introduce yourself, Casey, since you're on the screen in front of me now.
Well, I'm Casey Culinary. I'm a personal chef, been a resident of Whitecroft for over 30 years. And my knowledge of the Board of Health we're bringing, from a food perspective and as a food handler and safety. And yeah, I know Pete and congratulations and welcome to the Board of Health.
Okay. Next one, Dr. Yee.
Sadly, I'm a medical doctor, private practice, internal medicine and pediatrics, so basically a family medicine practice out of hospital in town, and also an office in Inglewood. So do a little bit of medicine. I've been on a resident here for about 18, 19 years.
Good. Your sound, I don't know if everybody, but your sound, Dr. Yee, is a little tough for me to hear. So just to let you know. Mike Sparazik.
Make sure I'm not on mute. Spend most of my day on Zoom meetings on mute. Name is Michael Sprozik. I am a pharmacist by trade. Lived in this town more years than I want to readily admit to, because it shows my age. I am now working in the pharmaceutical industry in research and development, biologics, biotech, and I'm also an EMT now for 22, 23 years.
Very good. Thank you. Donna Garbatio.
Hello, Pete. Nice. Welcome to the Board of Health. I'm a registered nurse. I've been in critical care for 23 years. I did public health nursing for 3. I worked as a school nurse in Eisenhower Middle School for 5 years. Now I'm currently the school nurse in the Indian Hills High School.
Very good. And Lynn Raffo.
Hi, Pete. Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
I've been a resident of Wyckoff for over 20 years, and I'm a registered nurse, certified case manager. My background in nursing is behavioral health nursing, and I'm currently employed at Englewood Hospital, working out of their population health team. Welcome.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Develina.
Hi, I'm Develina. I'm a pharmacist as well. Currently not working after COVID. Since the kids started virtual schooling, I stopped working, but that's pretty much it. In Wyckoff for about 11 years. And yeah, love this town and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Linda Brock. You're on mute, Lynn.
Muted. Okay. Hi, Pete. Welcome to the board.
Thanks.
I'm a registered nurse, but I haven't worked as a nurse for a very long time because I work at the Vanderplaat Funeral Home with my husband. And I've lived in Wyckoff all my life, and I've been on the ambulance corps since 1985, so 36 years.
Great. Thank you.
Our Bergen County representative, Michelle, and newly married Michelle. We haven't seen you since you got married, so congratulations from all of us. You're on mute, Michelle.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Yes. So I work for the county. I'm the inspector for the flow area, this District 1, as we call it. And I am an environmental health specialist. I do a lot of the food inspections and a lot of septic inspections in the area.
Very, very good. Thank you there. And last but certainly not least, I wanted to save our township liaison, Pete, for last, so everybody can hear your background. So Pete, welcome to the board. We have a fantastic board. You'll see very quickly. You'll see how educated and how insightful and how engaged this board is. So we welcome you, Pete.
Yeah, no, it's great. And, thanks for, looking forward to working with everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your service and your volunteer time here. I know when we were doing liaison positions, I requested Board of Health. I have a EMS first responder background. I grew up down in East Rutherford, and I was on the ambulance corps down there for 9 years. And so I do have a little bit of that background, and I know I've known Dr. Clark and Linda and Casey, and I know a bunch of you, and Dr. Yee. So, you know, I thought it would be a perfect fit. And please, I know I sent an email out. You have my email address. I think I put my cell phone in there. So if there's anything I could do for anybody on this board or anything, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. And I look forward to the 2021 year. You guys are doing a great job, you know, so I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Pete, and welcome. And we have not had a face-to-face meeting because of the pandemic and everything, but that doesn't mean this board hasn't been active. Just about everybody on this board has been engaged, inputting, sending information back and forth. And so this board has really been insightful and been engaging. It's been an education for me. I can't tell you how much I've learned in just since the pandemic started, since March. So, and you'll learn a lot too as we go along. So we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping first because it's 7:45, and I want to leave that public comment to about 8 o'clock. So if someone comes on about 8 o'clock, they would have a chance to speak if they wanted to. So we have a little housekeeping to do. We have the minutes back from March of last year that we need to approve. So what I like, if anybody has those in front of them, that would be great. You should have received them. You should have reviewed them already. Does anybody have any additions, comments, deletions? Any comment on it at all? Then I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from March of last year.
So moved.
All right, Mike, motions first. Anybody second?
Good.
Casey second. All right, any discussion on the motion at all? Anybody have any discussion at all? Okay, all in favor, just raise your hand and that's fine. Thank you. Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Moves unanimously. That was easy. Boy, that was really easy. Mike, we need to talk about elections. You're on mute, but do we need to talk about elections now? Or you want to do that later on towards the end? I know it's on the agenda towards the end, but trying to fill some time so if someone from the public comes
Your preference, sir.
on. Okay. Why don't we do this? Why don't we go back? Let's look at December's report. Michelle, you can go over the report. Pete, what we do is each month we'll get a report from the county. It'll give us all kinds of delineations of things that are going on. It might be things from dog bites to food problems to inspections. And so Michelle's going to kind of go into that deeper and really give an overview of the kind of work that she does and how we rely on her. So Michelle, you want to take that away?
Sure. December, we're just finishing up our inspections for the year. You know, certain places get inspected one time per year, other places twice per year, as well as the pool inspections, daycares, schools. Schools were a little tough this year because most of them are not doing any food service, as well as daycares and churches, things like that. We were following up with all of those places to see whether or not they were serving food or not. Most places were not. Yeah, we did the kennel this month. We always do the kennel in about December, the Tyco, the animal control kennel. And we had one animal bite, dog on dog. So both animals were licensed and up to date on rabies. So that was fairly easy. And that was basically it for December, at least.
Yeah. Michelle, if you don't mind, let's go through. We've talked a lot since March last year. Can you give a little overview of some of the experiences you were dealing with early on? I know they moved you over to handling septic inspections because that's part of your expertise. Give a little overview of what you've been dealing with at the county level back then, the stuff we worked on together, the different things.
Yeah, so from March to now, it's been insane to say the least. We kind of stopped doing inspections mid-March. We pivoted more to, we did actually video chat inspections with a lot of the establishments. That was essentially April, May, June, most of it. And then we pivoted back to doing in-person inspections. So for those 3 months, we were actually like FaceTiming with the owners of these restaurants. So that was a very unique experience. It was very difficult with kind of getting all these executive orders and having to deal with them on the fly. We got a lot of things that came down from the state that we weren't necessarily like expecting, when they shut down in, indoor dining 50%, we had to deal with that on the fly. When they shut down pools, reopened pools, all of a sudden we had like zero notice. So it was a little crazy, but we ended up getting through. I didn't do any. We were doing tracing calls for a while, not me personally, my coworkers. So we were doing that for a while until the county finally outsourced the tracing calls.
It was just overwhelming, right? The
a lot.
numbers were just out of control.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot in March and April,
Yeah.
May, June.
Yeah.
And then we started to get better guidance from the state, and our tracing calls were outsourced. So that helped with the bulk of work.
Yeah. As everybody knows, in March and April, where the virus really ramped up in May, it was hard to get a hold of Michelle because she was just bouncing from place to place to place because they needed all hands on deck, and Michelle was just running nonstop. And I'm trying to call her because people are calling me and businesses are calling, and I don't know how to handle this.
We're doing the vaccination clinics. We were doing the testing sites. We have like 3 people on our staff every day at the testing sites and at the vaccination sites. So we're like spread very thin.
Yeah.
Spread very thin.
Yeah. But it's come together. It's all come together, although it's been crazy here. When you talked about the virtual inspections, talk about how you do it with the iPad, just what's involved. It's just not taking a pad and showing around the room. Tell them the kind of things you do with the refrigeration and what the owners need to be doing, what kind of compliance they're doing.
I personally didn't do any video conference call, video FaceTime, because I'm mostly doing septic inspections, they were out of control as well. FaceTime, essentially you speak with the owner, they go around, they have a thermometer, they temp products, they check sanitizer, they kind of pan around, they check for gloves, we were checking for masks, things like that. So really the owner or the manager is doing all of the physical probing and temperature checks, things like that.
From your colleagues, what are you hearing some of the challenges now? We know what the challenges were before. Is it a different shift of challenges? Back then we were dealing with just a cough, and then all of a sudden it was clotting and other things. And are you having challenges with any of the businesses in our town that you hear from your colleagues?
No, not outdoor dining got a little dicey with the tents and enclosures. That was probably the most difficult part. When it started to get colder, everyone had tents with 4 sides, so it was essentially like turning into indoor dining. So that was the biggest issue. Any sort of outdoor food prep they wanted to do, we tried to persuade them not to do that, having an outdoor bar or things like that. So the outdoor dining was probably the biggest issue.
Yeah. Okay, very good, very good. Well, basically you're handling a lot of my presence report, but from March and all the way through, Cindy and I, we designed some forms, because what's happening, the phone call, everybody was saying, just call your local board of health, which was the wrong thing to be doing. And here's Cindy, who's overwhelmed there. She's doing all the work there. So we designed a form that you could answer all the questions. Then we were calling back and forth as to how do we handle this situation? This person died. What do we do with this? How do we notify this? And it just every day, as Michelle just alluded to, it was on the fly. And this was all new to us here. So it really was quite a bit of things. I actually started, hold on, Case. I actually started writing down everything. I couldn't keep up with writing and I gave up. I threw my hands up because there was so much going on. I was calling Linda at the funeral home. What are you seeing there? How are you handling the situations here so we can understand it? Casey, go ahead. Sure.
Yeah. So going forward, Michelle, is there going to be, I know we're in the winter phase, but we don't see coronavirus, hopefully toning down more, but going forward, once spring reactivates, I'm sure people are going to be, and business owners are going to be ready to open those tents up again. Is there a protocol in place going forward? Have they ironed out some of the kinks? Will it change? Will it be kind of more just fluid? Because that's how it seemed to be for a very long time, which I know that was the I guess the biggest problem with being fluid is it's great, but then when it comes down to on your end, some people are doing one thing, some people are doing another, and it gets a little chaotic.
Yeah, I think these restaurants are going to be very prepared for the spring, and I think outdoor dining is going to continue. I think the town, especially Wyckoff, did really well with the outdoor dining. If you saw Boulder Run, they had it all cordoned off, which is great. And some of these places had more seating outside than they do inside, so it was kind of, certain places, not all the places. But I think they're going to be well prepared to do it come the spring if we need it, and it's looking like they will need it in the spring, by April, when it starts to warm up, if vaccinations don't roll out as fast as they had expected. But I think it's going to stay, and I hope the town was really great. We had a meeting with the police chief, the fire official, and to discuss the outdoor dining, and I think the town responded very well. I believe they waived a lot of the outdoor dining fees. I'm not sure, Cindy would know exactly. But they really helped out these businesses in Wyckoff, which was fantastic.
Well, I guess that was my point, is that I know it was a huge part of keeping a lot of these restaurants afloat, because of course, when you go to 50% capacity, everyone knows a restaurant, if you ever ran a business, but if you run a restaurant, the last 2 days is about what you make in your profit. Everything else is cost. And when you shut a restaurant to 50%, you're not making any money. So I'm just hoping that if we could facilitate it any way on our end to make sure to keep the outdoor dining available, I think it's imperative for the sake of the restaurant business.
Yeah, and we would encourage it too, if until the governor lifts the 50% capacity. Obviously, outdoor dining is a great alternative.
And some of them did very well. You look at TS Ma, there's a line down the side there, and Pizza Love, and all these different places. They thrived on that takeout business. They really did quite well. The town was very flexible and really worked hard. They were doing everything they could to be business friendly, and that's a huge plus for any business. They may not appreciate it, but this town worked very hard to make sure these people stayed afloat. They're our friends, they're our neighbors, and so that's why we all tried to take care of our own here. So,
Steve, I have a question.
Sure, Don. I was going to come to you in a couple moments. Yeah.
Well, it's just Michelle, on your report, from your angle, I just wanted to know, how were you receiving the COVID-19 positive case investigations, and then with the compliance assistance? How did that go into it?
Yeah, so the COVID positive, those go directly up to our duty officer line at the county. So they're taken, those are, if you look on the side, Laura is our chief inspector. So she gets all the complaints and the COVID inquiries. So I think they called up to her directly, up to the main county line, which goes directly to Laura's phone. And then the COVID mitigation plans, that's the indoor dining, like the signage that you see when you go to a restaurant, or the outdoor dining signage, checking for masks, gloves, sanitizing tables between customers, things like that. So we do that hand in hand with the inspections, like the restaurant inspections. We do the COVID compliance. The executive order.
Michelle, would you say that your compliance assistance requests was there a general same questions, like if an employee gets sick, what do I do? Is that the kind of?
Yes, we got those a lot. Yeah. Yeah, so we got those a lot. Our suspected COVID case, what do we do? Came up a lot with the pool. Oh, I hear myself talking, sorry. It came up a lot with the pools, when the pools were closed down for quite some time. And they would call me every week. Did you hear anything? YMCA is calling me. Did you hear anything? I said, no. We would get those type of things, or, should we close? Should we just do takeout only? Things like that. We get all the questions. They all, And we try to help them out as best as we can. Sometimes we just don't have the answers, unfortunately. You know, we were not privy to information prior to the governor going on TV most of the time. So it was tough at
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
and
deal
again, you
with-
learned on the fly.
Yeah.
Did you deal with quarantining and things like that for them too, helping with that?
No, that goes right to the nurses. We refer
Okay.
them to the nursing staff. Yeah. You know, and to the CDC website always. Especially now that it's changing.
Michelle, moving forward with your written reports, we're only going to get this one report now, right?
Yeah, so you're only gonna get the log. The other cover sheets mostly for our annual report that goes to the state every year. It's just a tally.
I'm sure there's gonna be more questions for you, Michelle. Right now, we've hit 8 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the meeting up to any members of the public who are interested, that would like to voice any questions or concerns or interests at all. This is the point of the meeting where we open up to the public. Looking on the schedule, I see that there's no members of the public on at the present time. So I'm going to close that part of the meeting, the public comment portion. Cindy, not really much going on with temporary food handling or communicable disease. We've got reports, school health immunization. Donna, I wanted to come to you because you are a school nurse at Indian Hills. Can you tell us, I know we talk quite often of what's going on, the challenges you're having there. Maybe you can give an overview of some of the challenges and maybe where you might need help on information or where you think things have really gone right or wrong.
Well, as far as the vaccines, there's really nothing changed. Our report really was submitted and we're in compliance with that. It just will be interesting going forward, see how this COVID vaccine takes effect and just how it helps with the whole fluidness of COVID-19. I know also with most of my job now is dealing with positive cases and dealing with contact tracing. It's been extremely, pretty much all of our day is dealt with that. And really we are just continuing to do the best with conjunction of the county's recommendations. We call them on every case that we have and guidance and use their guidance. And it's just been, adopting new policies with quarantining. And again, just it's fluid, it's changing, ever changing. And it's really been a very, very, I don't even know how to describe this year really in school.
How about brutal? Brutal. Donna's been very helpful. She's provided a lot of information to me. Also, Superintendent of Schools, Carrie Posma, she and I talk quite often. As she texts me as soon as something comes up. There's a list of positive cases and the K through 8s, and Donna gives me insights of what's going on with the schools too. So Donna, what you provide has been very helpful because you're kind of the man on the street. You're real time seeing it. So and dealing with parents and the issues of the parents and the kids. You're always there for the health of the kids, but you got to deal with the parents.
Yeah, so it's been a challenging year, but I've enjoyed it. I'm excited learning about it and just really making a difference with the community, trying to educate them as best we can to understand this virus, because it's not an easy virus to understand.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's move the agenda right along. Then Mike, you can take it away with election of the 2021 officers. I'm going to push my seat back. I'll step away from the desk.
Thank you, Steve. This year is, besides all the other challenges, one of the challenges was getting together for a slate of officers. So the nomination committee consisted of myself and Linda Brock. I reached out to people and asked them if they had any interest in running. I received nobody there that was interested in it besides Steve and Lynn. I almost forgot her. I'm like, oh, who's the vice president? Lynn. So I will open up the nominations from the floor. When I ask for, the vice president will be Lynn Spring Raffo, sorry. Anybody interested for on the floor nominations for this position? I'll take the silence as no. Cindy, can you please cast one vote for
Yes.
Lynn for the position of vice president?
Yes, I cast a vote in favor of Lynn Spreen Raffo as vice president.
Thank you, ma'am. And now going on to the president. Any nominations from the floor? Nope, the committee had nominated Steve Clark as our president again this year. So Cindy, can you please record one vote?
Yes, I cast a
Steve?
vote in favor of Steve Clark as president of the Wyckoff Board of Health.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
Thanks for handling that. Very good, Mike. Thank you. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell, everybody here who's been giving information to me, and I've talked to you each on the phone and everything, but the two people that we burn up the phone lines, Lynn and Mike, we're constantly sharing information of new research and studies going back and forth. All day long, things are going. We think this is great. We think this is terrible. And so, Mike and Lynn have been invaluable as, kind of like the big brother, big sister to back me up, to give me information. Sometimes I'm not sure what to do. One time I had to go to the Wyckoff police. I had to get a police officer. I had to go to one of the businesses down because someone was sick that was working at a business and had to get out of there. And who am I to walk in there and tell them to leave? When I brought a policeman, things changed a little bit. But you two, we talked about it and you strategized and you helped me out. And, it's invaluable when you have people that are educated behind you, and as this board is. So we have the Rabies Clinic. Cindy, you just want to give an overview about the Rabies Clinic for this Saturday? Pretty easy.
Rabies Clinic is this Saturday at the DPW garage. It's going to be a drive-through event, and the Township website has posted the time slots for different letters of the alphabet. And, we'd like to try and keep everybody to that schedule. And we're going to see how that goes. You will be able to receive the vaccine. We are not doing the licensing there this year like we have done all the years in the past. You either will have to mail in your application or drop it off at town hall, and then they will mail your license back to you.
Okay, and there's not going to be a drop box there for somebody?
There may be a drop box there if you had your paperwork that was mailed to your home and you've completed it. I think they're going to have a box there that you can drop that off in.
And Cindy, is it going to be a true drive-through where the
Yeah.
doc's going to have to lean into the car to give the injection?
I don't know whether they're going to take the animals out of the car, but both ends of the garage are going to be open and you're literally going to drive through.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That means for sure we better wear our coats.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
What
And of
time do
course,
you want us there?
masks.
What was that?
What time would you like us there?
I'm going to arrive at 12 for a 1 o'clock start.
Okay.
Are you going to be filling vials?
Okay, Ken, you gonna come, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to come. You need me?
Yeah.
And I'll bring Macy. Let her fill out the little student nurse.
That'd be good.
Okay, so 12 o'clock?
I think that, I'd say 12:30-ish.
Okay.
I'll
If we
miss
were
you
really
guys this
good,
year.
yeah, I know. If we were really good, we could have had 2 lanes, one for the pets for the rabies. Human beings get their COVID shot on the other side, and do it like the dogs, the dog and the human up the ramp and then down the ramp, get their shot, and there you go.
Dual
So-
clinic.
It's an experience, Pete. Yeah, if you can make it, it's really a fun experience. One of the fun things is Township committee person, you'll get a kick out of it. I want to let you know, Dr. Klopp, as you may, I don't know if you know, he usually does it. He was exposed to COVID and he got COVID from one of his staff in his office. I talked to him this morning, just a mild cold, if anything, sniffles, a little cough. He feels fine, but everybody's out, so like that. So Tycho, our animal control officers, got someone from Oradell Animal Hospital that's going to come and take care of everything. So, and I'm sure Carol will be there. I texted with Carol this morning. She's all set to go. So Klopp's fine. His wife has as well. She's fine as well. So Dr. Klopp was on the board for many years. He was a veterinarian. So COVID-19, we have a vaccine rollout. We've got super centers. Just a few days ago, they talked about super centers in Rockaway and Rowan College, but now you're starting to see sites pop up. Yesterday, I just heard that private practitioners, if they want to start delivering the vaccine, they set up with the state and they can start giving the vaccine in their office. And that's kind of new. That's come down the pipe. they're also looking at asking dentists to start giving it. So they're trying to give more delivery modes out there. I guess the more vaccines, because the rollout's been quite slow. It's been slow out there. So right now we're at 1A and 1B. 1A is healthcare workers, 1B is police, fire, EMS, and then 1C is essential workers. Linda, you just want to give an overview about what some of the firemen and the things we talked about, where they went in Patterson? And I mentioned it before, but I want you to just go over it again.
Yeah, the international school in Patterson, there has been no line there, and they are not running out of, I believe that's where Cindy went. Did you not, Cindy? And they seem to be walking right in and getting it, and no problem, no wait. Very, very, very little wait. Half an hour at the most, I think that I've heard.
Yeah, I didn't go myself. My husband went for the fire department, and on a Saturday, no less, and there was nobody waiting online. It was, paperwork, and there were more people administering the vaccine than there were people waiting for the vaccine.
Right.
That's why we got to move it forward.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you know which vaccine that they are administering there?
That was
Madeira.
Madeira.
Yeah.
Moderna, yeah.
Moderna.
Englewood Hospital also started their event today for first responders, firefighters, and police. I'm sure Dr. Yee, you're aware as well, right?
Yeah, I got my, yeah.
Yeah, so I know that today was the first day that they opened up with no appointment to first responders. So it's starting, it's there.
Yeah, it is right. And that's a perfect segue. I was going to ask Dr. Yee, you're also seeing, you're a man on the street, you're in a private practice. What are you seeing in your office? What are you seeing from 6 months ago? And what are you seeing now? The difference in the vaccine and what's going on with people, not the vaccine itself, but what people are getting.
Well, we've seen a whole bunch of people. I think that the peak was during the first peak was pretty rough. We saw we were seeing patients, and I was seeing patients in the office. We didn't stop seeing patients. We implemented some televisits, but most of our patients are still coming in. Our staff have been pretty tough about it. They saw them. They weren't afraid, and we took care of them. And interestingly, when the antibody test first came out, we tested everybody in the office, and I was going to swear that I was going to be positive. I was negative. So we I became more and more careful about it after the negative antibody test. But there was a peak of it right before the holidays. Actually, interestingly, we were seeing a whole bunch of people coming and testing more positives, and then the past 2 or 3 weeks has been relatively slow in terms of positive. This week I've had maybe 1 or 2 so far, and they came in with symptoms. You didn't have to test them. They came in saying that they lost the taste and smell, and so why bother testing? You're going to be positive. And of course, they turned out to be positive. I saw a young lady yesterday 2 days ago who came in with sinus symptoms, and she had symptoms for a few days, and said that was I'm pretty sure it's a sinusitis. My forehead is hurting, my face is hurting, but the tough part was that she just came out of her sister's wedding 2 weeks ago. So we're gonna have to find out from that whether she picked it up from the wedding itself or she picked it up from work. But it's people actually sometimes walking in with mild symptoms, maybe a little headache, and nothing else, and they're testing positive, and the people are testing positive with no symptoms. So it's a tough thing. So you can't be too careful. That's basically it. I think that. Fortunately, like I said, we did have one of my staff tested positive, but she had no symptoms. And then she waited. We tested her against recommendations, but she stayed positive for at least 3 weeks before she eventually became antibody positive. She did actually get the vaccine. When the vaccine came out, when Englewood offered it to the offices. So I got everybody in the office signed up for it, and everybody got it. She got the vaccine. She got chills. She got fever from the vaccine itself because of her having been positive and having antibodies. But she was only sick for a day, and she came to work like a trooper the next day. So I think that's still. I'm not sure that you have to wait, but I guess that's basically. I think that's about it. I mean.
Yeah.
Dr. Yee, real quick, this is a quick. So my father actually is a doctor as well. He's retired now, but one question that and my friend actually tested positive. He's been over it now for almost 2.5 months. But the only thing he did, he never got a fever, lost taste and smell. But now he's experienced a lot of chest pressure, and he's actually his doctor. He went to a cardiologist. They're calling it a lot of inflammation. And has there been any protocol now going forward? If you are only say no fever, taste and smell, not really showing any of their symptoms, are they thinking about moving forward with treatment or any type of using, because there are seeing cases as it progresses later, issues with inflammation in the lung region?
Yeah, I think that as far as I am listening to different conferences or that inflammation and the inflammatory process can persist. Actually, I have a patient who was hospitalized in Englewood with COVID, was in there for about 7 days. Got the remdesivir, got steroids, got the Eliquis for blood thinning, and he came out. He's 65. He was, prior to being sick, he was a really healthy guy, lifting weights, all that stuff, working out regularly. He came home with an oxygen tank, and then he went to see the pulmonary guy for follow-up, and he weaned him off, and he actually was doing well for a couple of weeks, or for 2 or 3 weeks, and all of a sudden he just got sick again, and we're out hospitalizing him. He continued to test COVID positive. The ID guy, ID specialist said, it's impossible for him to get COVID again, but still treated him with remdesivir, and then he put him on, I think he's back on steroids. So I think steroids is probably one of the things that they're putting people on, and continuing on maybe some blood thinners like Eliquis or something of that nature. And the big thing, I think, for those who have persistent symptoms, as long as it's not blood clots, do a CAT scan of the chest, look for blood clots in the lungs. And if there's no blood clots, I guess inflammation and pulmonary rehab is advocated by some groups, some pulmonary doctors, I guess kind of like exercise rehab after an MI.
Intubation.
I mean, my older brother actually had COVID. He was over in New York. He went to the ER twice. They kicked him out because his oxygen level wasn't low enough. So he went home and sucked it up for about 4 to 6 weeks. Lost about 15 pounds. Fortunately, he's still alive, but he's persistently coughing. And he's still coughing even now, probably about 7 months after the fact.
You're talking today, some articles came out about that COVID lung is just as bad as a deep smoker's lung, that they're seeing that.
Yeah.
We've all heard about the clots and things like that going on. So let me throw a little fly in the,
with
what's
those
that, Don?
families. We're seeing a lot of families, multiple, people in the family being positive.
Yeah.
It's becoming a little bit, it's concerning because the numbers are still going up.
Multi-generational, yeah.
So let me throw a little fly in the ointment here. Go ahead.
I just want to interject on a positive note. So I know Dr. Yee said he as well saw such an influx before the holidays. I felt that from around Halloween through the holidays, we saw the numbers start to trend up. Not only have I been working with my primary care practices, but I've been on a lot of specialized projects for the hospital itself. So following all of the discharge patients, EDs. This week I'm on positive results, the drive-through results. And where we anticipated, this is the positive side, that, this is the 2-week post-holiday time week. And I thought we would be overwhelmed with the numbers, and it's actually been quite low. So I'm happy to say that. So I'm seeing in the past 2 weeks a little bit of a slower, positive in results, and pleasantly surprised. And what you're referring to, Casey, with a lot of the long-term complications you know, they're category, they're called long haulers. So with every patient, no matter the age, whether you're 25 or 90, follow up with pulmonary, cardio, and primary care is so important because of these long-term complications people are, you know, getting from COVID. So positive sides, I think it wasn't as bad and the numbers are going down.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, a couple things I mentioned before about putting a little fly in the ointment. So what does everybody think about the testing, the COVID testing? You know, we're seeing it. We saw Miller's Pharmacy. There are people driving around the whole block trying to get tested. What do people feel about the, you know, Dr. E, the PCR testing, even the rapid testing, the rapid PCR? You're finding that it's accurate, it's not accurate? I mean, we've gotten so many people that are saying, I had a false positive, I had a false negative, I had 2 negatives, then I had a positive. Any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do them in the office. I let them in, I mean, patients come in. This past week, there was one gentleman who had already tested positive, well, was positive from April, May, had antibodies, and then he had a headache, went to an urgent care, did a rapid test, and they told him he was positive. He came to my office, we tested the PCR, and it was negative, and I did another antibody level on him, it was still antibody positive. So I'm not sure why his rapid test was positive. So I still think that there's a lot of false positives with the rapid test. So I rely on the PCR, and the turnaround time actually has improved quite a bit. LabCorp will turn around in 24 hours sometimes. I would do a test and I'll get back tomorrow. In the past, when it first started, it was like 5 to 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, I mean, and now it's 2 days is max. The next day I'm getting responses already. So people are getting pretty quick time. I don't know that rapid test is really.
Doctor, are you finding that when you do a rapid and you are positive, are you then going for the deep nasal and then sending it out? Is that usually the protocol, or if you get rapid positive, you're then?
Well, I don't do the rapid in the office. So
you don't do rapid. Okay, so then okay.
Yeah, all my tests is just sent out to for a PCR. So I'm not sure that the whole. Actually, I mean, we have the kits from LabCorp, and they go probably into nasopharynx, but not all the way to the posterior. But we're still getting tests. I make sure I get a good sample, and make sure I make them cry.
Scrape the back.
So now a couple things. I had some cleanup things I want to touch on. We mentioned that different groups, 1A, 1B, 1C, they changed now that if you're over 65 or between 16 and 64 years old with medical conditions, you can go once that 1C group goes. I'm going to put something out there for food for thought. We don't have to have an answer for it tonight, but the question is, if you were to donate blood, when could you donate blood? If you were post-COVID, let's say you had COVID 6 months ago, could you donate blood now? Would that be a problem? And we're seeing now patients that are, if they've had COVID and they get the vaccine within 3 months, they're finding quite a bit of side effects from it. They're getting fevers, they're getting chills, they're getting, quite almost like they have a flu for about 24, 36 hours. Are you seeing that, Dr. E, after the vaccinations?
We're hearing that too from people that have had COVID and got the vaccine, my colleagues too.
Yeah.
And I've had COVID, yeah.
Many of them are saying they really took a walloping, for the first 24, 36 hours. They were down for the count. My friends are saying, don't go to work the next day. That's how strong they feel. That's how bad it is.
And those are post-COVID patients, Steve?
Post-COVIDs within 3 months, which you shouldn't go, and you really shouldn't do anyway.
I think that's the problem.
We're seeing that as well in even non-COVID patients, right?
Yeah.
There's some of population that are getting so.
Another question out there that was brought up to me was, and I don't know from Mike or who we were talking about, is that someone that needs, let's say a kid's going back to college and needs a meningitis shot, and they've had COVID. Is there a time frame, a lag time between vaccinations or any type of vaccinations? Let's say someone has it. Should it be at least 3-6 months before you get any vaccinations after you've been COVID positive?
I don't think that there's anything out there that says that you shouldn't get vaccinated for your routine stuff. I think, you know, I haven't seen it. I mean, unless somebody else has seen something.
Yeah.
I think that most of the Academy of Pediatrics will say discontinue vaccination because just as screening and everything else, you know, you don't want to delay screening because you're afraid of going to the hospital. You know, and people need to get the mammograms done. People need their colonoscopy done just because COVID is around. They shouldn't skip those tests. I mean, but vaccine, I haven't heard. I mean, I think that the consensus is that they tell the parents to bring the kids for vaccines because it's better to. Well, I mean, obviously, this is just this is not specific to a post-COVID patient, but I don't think that there is anything that says that you can't.
With our pediatrician had told us with our kids that as long, you know, even any type of vaccination, you want them actually healthy. So if you are experiencing fever or you're sick, of course, you don't get vaccinated at that time with any vaccination. You want to go in as healthy as you can be always, I guess, but you know, there's like anything post-COVID, you know, I don't know. You could be, like you said, we could have inflammation in the chest for 6 months. So I don't know how, you know, I don't know. I guess that's on an individual basis. I guess they discuss that with the doctor, their doctor, primary care.
Very good. Yeah, no, good.
With our school athletes that have had COVID, the concern is, you know, the heart-related issues. So, you know, mild, moderate, severe, there's a whole algorithm for return to play, whether it's an EKG or echo. So that's another phase that we're really dealing with young athletes that have had COVID. So it's another part of it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So it was just food for thought. You know, when we get together for our next meeting, I'm sure there'll be changes already. There's different vaccines coming down the pike. We have Pfizer, Moderna now. AstraZeneca is coming out. Johnson & Johnson's going to be, at the end of this month, will be applying for emergency use. That'll be a one shot. And it's a little different. If you go on YouTube, there's some pretty good animations of the different viruses. You can really, very, very, very cool to look at. It really gives you a good overview of what's going on. Before I wrap up the meeting, anybody have anything else? Old business or new business? Anybody have anything? I just want, you know, I don't want to be remiss by not thanking Noemi from Bergen County, one of the head nurses there. She has been awesome. She's been a lifeline of information for me. She's been invaluable. Right now, she's nonstop injecting. I can't even get a hold of her. She just sends me text saying, listen, I'm still injecting from morning to night. So she's one of those unsung heroes that, you know, that really is doing some job and really a special person. And hopefully one day we'll get to meet her. She wants to come to a meeting, you know. She's, I hear all about you and you talk about it. And now I want to meet you people. So, but she's been great.
I have to kudos to that because we use them all the time. And Noemi and Amy and Allison, they have really been troopers. And we couldn't do it without them. So. And
again, they're learning their information as they get it. Sometimes they throw their hands up. They want to tell you one thing, but the state's saying something else. And so, but she's just been outstanding, and it gives me hope for the county. Sorry. So, anybody else have any other business?
Steve?
Yes.
So we are in the middle of doing our licensing of the restaurants, the nursery schools.
Right.
You know, we do vending machines, we do the pools. I did get the applications out late because I've been so busy with the building department. They went out near the end of December. They were supposed to be back by December 31st, but I'm giving everybody a month,
sure,
you know, till the end of this month to get their applications in. Also today I received the 2021 contract for the Waldwick Well Baby program. And somehow you and I will have to work out a way for you to sign this contract. And we had no one use the program in July, September, October, November, and they did not hold clinics in April, May, June, August, and December of this year. And the times they were open, we did not have anyone attend.
Okay. And understandably. So, anybody else that want to bring anything forward before we I accept the motion to adjourn? Okay, well, hopefully we'll see everybody in a month. Please stay healthy and bring forward whatever you have, put it out there. We tried to provide a lot of information this year on the email. I wanted to keep everybody up to date and as to what things were going on. So hopefully, it was engaging for you. Maureen, thank you for handling the Zoom call. I hope the public enjoyed this as well. They've got some valuable information out of it.
You're very welcome. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for everything you do. And Cindy, you're awesome.
Thank you.
We know that.
And I want to say one more time, Pete, welcome to the Board of Health. Thank you again and congratulations. And we'll see, hopefully we'll see everyone in person sooner than later.
Yeah,
right.
thank you,
Very
everyone.
good,
Thanks
Casey.
for everything you do.
Good. Okay. Thank you, Maureen. You
Nice
can
to see
close it.
everyone.
Motion to
right.
adjourn the meeting.
Thank-
Motion.
Thank you, Mike, and second by Linda. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Have a good
Bye-bye,
night.
everybody.
Good night. Take care.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Steve, who seconds the meeting? Who seconds?
Linda.
Lynn.
Okay, ending.
Thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome, Cindy. I'll see you tomorrow.